My name is Gabriella Mari, and I am one of the directors of the Cordon Bleu school in Florence. I started the school in 1985 with my colleague Cristina Blasi, and now we offer very different kinds of courses, starting from the amateur to the professional and academic levels. We have both short-term courses and long-term ones. So we have many different courses. We are located in a historical, beautiful palace. It's a building, 16th century, Palazzo Ximenes da San Gallo. And we are very proud to be here, that we have moved here recently. So today I have decided to show a pasta dish. Pasta is one of the topics that I love, and I have written 2 books on pasta together with my colleague Cristina, one in 2004 and one in 2005. Pasta is a topic in Italy that is amazing. Thousands of different kinds of pasta we can make. But we can say that we have mainly 2 groups of pasta in Italy. The group from the northern part of Italy, north of Italy, that is a kind of pasta with fresh eggs and all-purpose flour. And then we have the pasta from the Mediterranean area of Italy, that is pasta with semolina flour, durum wheat. Normally the pasta from the north includes eggs, as I told you, and the pasta from the south doesn't include eggs because the gluten content in the semolina pasta is higher, so doesn't need the structure, the protein of the eggs to make an important body for pasta. The pasta dish that I've decided to show is a very traditional kind of pasta, stuffed pasta, that is ravioli with spinach and ricotta, with a sage and butter sauce. It's very simple, and it's possible to find these traditional recipes all over Italy. It's something that is very, as I told you, very traditional, dates back to the Middle Ages, and was typical, of course, of the wealthy people, and also in the convents, because ricotta was available easily with the convents. So the ingredients for these ravioli are all-purpose flour, whole eggs. Then for the filling we have a little lemon rind to grate, to give a little more taste. Then spinach, fresh spinach, very well rinsed, then steamed, squeezed and chopped. Salt and pepper, fresh ricotta cheese from sheep, and nutmeg. So this is very simple. Then we will serve with butter and sage. So first of all, we start by sifting the flour on the wooden board. That is the best way to make pasta. So after sifting the flour, we make a large well. I'm showing the traditional method from the north of Italy. This kind of ravioli is possible to find them also in Tuscany. Then we break the eggs one at a time to check them, and we pour into the well. At this point we beat the eggs into the well. Forget about the salt. Salt is something, a pinch of salt is something that you find in almost all the recipe books, but it's better to avoid it because it's hygroscopic, so you will make your pasta more humid than sticky, so it's more difficult to roll it out. That's the point. So after beating the eggs, we incorporate the flour very, very quickly in order to make just a mixture. Then the mixture becomes a ball. The problem of this pasta is to get the right texture, so we need a little practice to understand how much liquid you need or how much flour you need. So you have to put your fingers inside of the mixture and decide if you need more flour or more water. A little more water. Or beaten eggs, of course. When you have a mixture like that, you just assemble everything. And you start making a ball. This is not the kneading yet. It's just the assembling step. We keep on adding and mixing everything together in order to take all the crumbs. It's impossible to tell exactly how much water and eggs you need, because your eggs can be with a different size, and the flour can be more humid or with little more gluten. If you have a little stronger flour, that is preferable in this case. The gluten, when you make the gluten absorbs water, and so you need a little more liquid. So when we have a dough like that, it's important at this point to clean the table and wash your hands. Now the most important step, that is the kneading. The kneading is important to develop the gluten net. And the gluten is important to give a structure to your pasta, and that doesn't break during the cooking and keeps the shape. So it's very important to do it for about 10 to 20 minutes. That depends on how efficient is your kneading. So the more expert hands makes a faster result, faster kneading. So can you see how is changing? The dough becoming more homogeneous, more elastic, and easier to knead. So now we keep on doing this until we get a very smooth texture. I keep on with the kneading, and I use my palms. And this is a method from the north of Italy. So fold, press and roll, turn, fold, press and roll, turn, fold, press and roll, turn, fold, press and roll, until we get the right texture. You don't need a lot of strength, a lot of effort. You just need to be more elastic, more delicate. Your effort comes from your shoulders, not from your wrists. And little by little, you will see that your pasta is changing and becomes like a velvet, with a velvet texture, velvety, little by little. So when we get the right texture, very, very smooth and velvety, we let it rest for about half an hour, and we put it in plastic or just cover with a bowl on top. This resting time is important to relax your gluten, what you have developed, and to make it easier the rolling out. If you use ancient grains flour, that is very, very important nowadays to use different things, different healthy things. You don't need to let it rest. You can just roll out immediately. As you can see, we have the right texture, very, very smooth and velvety. Now we press the dough in order to have an easier rolling out, and we start by rolling up and down. So from the center down, from the center up. Then we rotate 90 degrees each step to have a very, very nice and precise round shape. So now we are rolling the dough out, and we rotate the dough. We keep on rotating the dough 90 degrees to make a nice circle, round shape. After doing that, at this point, at this step, we have to flip the dough. So we roll on the rolling pin, flatten it out to make more even, and then we change the direction, and we keep on doing that only to the top and to the bottom. Then again to flip the dough. And we arrive to the desired thickness, and this depends on what you want. In my opinion, a good raviolo is only a container. It's not a dough, a thick dough that hides the filling taste, and it's very important to taste the filling and not the dough. When the circle becomes too big, we put it outside of the board, the wooden board, in order to have more space to roll it out. At the beginning, it's better to do smaller balls to have it's easier, just easier. Now again, we keep on doing this until we get the best thickness for our ravioli. And I think we are there. We are getting there. A rolling pin, thing like that, long, it's the best way. Of course, the more pasta, the more eggs, the more quantity, the longer. All right, now we have to cut the dough in large strips. So now we have the desired thickness that is very, very thin. It's possible to see my hands on the wooden veins underneath, and we have to cut this dough in strips, in large strips. So in this case, we fold the pasta in 3, then we cut our pasta in 4. So when you use the pasta roller, you get these strips. So we are at the same step. Not to let it dry, we can pile them up, and if your pasta is a little bit humid, you can put a kitchen towel in between the layers. While our pasta is resting better in the fridge, if it's a warm place, we can make the filling. The filling is simply made by squeezed spinach and chopped and fresh ricotta, very well drained, because the water of the ricotta can make your filling too wet, and so the ravioli will break during the cooking. So we just mix the spinach and the ricotta cheese. Then we put freshly ground black pepper that I love. We can coarse sea salt, a little nutmeg. It's a very, very typical ingredient. And we add just a little rind of the lemon. Okay, we add the egg and all the ingredients we need. We also add the Parmesan cheese, that is a flavor enhancer and also helps to dry the filling and to keep everything together. You don't need to make too mashed. Roughly mixed is okay. Then we put this in a pastry bag and we use it for making the ravioli. I'll show you a different shape that you can use, that you can cut with a pastry cutter. So again, same thing, press the dough, the filling, remove the air, and press. Then before cutting, at this point you can take a pastry cutter and you make your round ravioli, or can be made like a half moon. Now we have our strips and we place the filling like that. Of course, the quantity depends on what you want to make. Smaller, bigger, larger. So your strips has to have the size that you need. We fold, we press the filling, and then we remove the air and we try to let the two pieces of pasta, of the dough, stick together. With our roller, we can make the ravioli like that. We remove the two edges. We don't throw this away, but we can make what we call wrecks of pasta to make a simple sauce or in a stock. Then you cut all the way through, and while you're cutting, the two pieces of pasta, if it's well made, should stick together. If your pasta is a little bit too dry, you can brush with just a little water just a little water before cutting. Then we can place them on the wooden board, very well dry, or on a baking paper. That is much easier because if your pasta sticks a little bit to the board, you just need to use the paper to boil them. You place the paper together with the ravioli into the boiling water, then it comes out immediately, easily, they don't break.